I, female, 22, was engaged to my high school boyfriend, Damian, male, 23, before something crazy happened. Like, legit batshit insane. Now, I wanted to ask whether my reaction to all of it was justified because Damian and his family are cussing me out on my socials for being tactless. This is my first time writing one of these posts, so here goes nothing. My ex and I met when I was 16, and we had stayed together since then. My family situation wasn't that great as a teen, and Damien was an amazing and understanding person when I was at my lowest. My dad's out of the picture, and my mom was an alcoholic who tried to make sure I had no chance of leaving her. She was dependent on me and stifled any attempts to create my own life and identity. Eventually, I worked up the courage to leave her and live by myself. Since then, she's apparently moved out from our city and I have had no contact with her. After I moved out, Damien and his parents supported me financially and also helped me get into a community college and improve myself. My ex and I actually started living together once I started college too, as he also went to college in our city. Things were perfect for him. But the only thing that stuck with me was a visit to our apartment by a mystery girl 2 years ago. This girl came to our place when Damien wasn't at home and then asked to see him. When I said that he wasn't at home, she said, "Just tell Damien that he has family. He should take some responsibility." She left after this cryptic statement, leaving me to confront Damien about this girl. When I told him about her and described her to him, his face immediately dipped. Damien then explained to me that he has an estranged sister who ran away from home before we met. She's only a few years older than us, and Damien only moved into my area a couple of months before we started dating, so I did buy it. As weird as it was, he was very convincing and had a whole story as to why his sister left the family, what kind of trouble she had got into after that, and why he chose to be NC with her. After that meeting, there was never any more contact from the estranged sister. I could tell that it had deeply affected Damien, so I also didn't push him too much on telling me about the family's secrets. However, even his parents told me about this so-called estranged sister after that incident and thanked me for not letting her speak to him or wait at the house to speak to him. We then got engaged last year, and the marriage was supposed to be last week. Everyone was ecstatic, and I felt super comfortable getting married to Damien because he genuinely felt like the home. I had known his family for a long time. His parents adored me and treated me with respect, and both of us were doing well enough financially. If you'd asked me last month if I'd be considering cutting the three of them out of my life, I would have called you crazy. But now we come to the batshit insane part of the story. A couple of days before our rehearsal dinner, I got a text on Instagram from an account I recognized as the girl from 2 years ago. When I told Damien, he immediately grabbed my phone and blocked the account, saying that I didn't need to get involved in family drama. Again, with the context of our relationship and the trust I had in him, I blindly accepted this and didn't bother digging further. I didn't even see the message since he deleted it off my phone since it was hateful, in his words. Everything went smoothly after that, and I completely forgot about it in the hustle of getting married. However, during the ceremony, there was a massive outcry from outside, and I saw a clearly manic woman with a crying toddler barge her way into the church. Since she had a kid with her, nobody wanted to manhandle her to stop her. It was as if the entire wedding party was paralyzed as she went off on her tirade. Damien and I were standing at the altar and midway through our vows when this happened. What she said literally broke my world in half. This was the same girl again, and she wasn't Damien's sister. She was his girlfriend when he was a teenager. Apparently, Damien and his parents were very influential in their old town, but Damien got this girl Lisa pregnant when they were 16. Lisa's parents were outraged, and the gossip spread through their small community like wildfire. Damien and his parents moved away, and Lisa's parents forced her to have the kid in some kind of maternity group home. She was basically shipped off to have a kid, and then when she came back, her parents wanted to pass it off as her sibling. Lisa ended up running away from home with her baby and contacting Damian for help. This was during the time we were dating and he initially refused. Lisa then ended up settling in the same city as us and dropping by our apartment, which was the incident all those years ago. After that, Damian got worried that I would find out and cooked up the whole story about his estranged sister. His parents were in on it too. He then started making payments to Lisa to buy her silence. She used these for her kid, CJ, and that's why I never really got to know the truth before the wedding. However, once Damien and I got engaged, he threatened her to stop leeching off of him since he had his own life now. With her only form of financial support gone, Lisa got progressively more and more desperate, which ended up in her infiltrating our wedding and having a breakdown where she spilled all these details. After a while, someone called the police and she was taken away. My heart went out to this poor girl and I wanted to make sure she was okay. Even after the outburst at the wedding, Damien and his parents said that Lisa was lying, had mental issues, yada yada. But of course, I couldn't trust them one bit. I didn't go through with the wedding. I told Damien not to come home and spent the whole night with Lisa and her child. She showed me all the proof I needed to believe her. I was so hurt by how Damien had hidden this from me that I wanted to immediately call him out and cut him out of my life forever. I knew that all my, definitely an ex by now, fiance and his parents cared about were people's opinions of them. Damien had already texted me after he figured out that I was going to hear Lisa out. He wrote, "Whatever happens and whatever you choose to do, please don't tell everyone about this. We can break up, but don't tell everyone about Lisa." I honestly didn't think he deserved that, though. I thought the whole world should know what a scumbag he is, especially our circle of friends. So I made a social media post announcing our breakup and the reasons behind it, which immediately led to a bunch of hate from Damien and his parents. They are livid I would humiliate them like this after everything they've done for me. That got me thinking, though. I know our relationship is over, but they did help me with college and gave me stability in the past. Would it have been the right thing to just end things in private? I feel like that may be better, but Lisa and her son deserve some kind of justice after all of this. Update 1. Okay, so before I go ahead, I'll answer a few questions for the detectives in the comment section. Firstly, Lisa didn't try to get child support because the girl was living paycheck to paycheck. Nobody would take her on pro bono, and she didn't have money for a lawyer. She's opened up to me a lot more about the kind of shame and guilt she felt too, and it must have been emotionally nerve-wracking to even contact Damien, let alone have a full-on lawsuit against him. Lisa's been gaslit by her community and the actions of Damien and his parents into thinking that she was at fault and ruined Damien's life by getting pregnant. The more I hear about what my ex was like before he met me, the more I realize he is literal scum. Update 2. I've offered that Lisa moves in with me after seeing the apartment she lived in. Damien has been kicked out and is living on his own as of now. Right now, I have a headache in the form of Damian threatening to sue me for defamation. Apparently, someone showed his place of work the social media post that I made, and it severely affected people's opinion of him. He's not going to get any promotions anytime soon. I don't think his threat holds any water, though. It just seems like he's lashing out after his years-long lie has finally come out. I'm going to consult a few people and see if I should be worried, though. Update 3. I spoke to a lawyer, and there's no way that I can be reasonably sued for defamation. I worded my post very factually and well. The fact speaks to Damien being a freaking jerk. So that's that. I told him as much when he kept texting and threatening me and blocked him. Next, I called his parents and chewed them out for being so terrible to an innocent girl. I've cut off all ties with all of them and am living by myself. Well, not myself. Lisa and CJ are here. I'm going to help her get a fresh start, and we become close friends. It's not just the shared trauma of dating a monster, but she's a super smart, resilient woman who's got a lot of potential. With her as my roommate, I can cover the lease, and overall, there isn't going to be much of a change in my living situation. Lisa can't contribute much financially, but she does a lot regardless, and I know that she's on her way up now. I guess the breakdown she had at the wedding gave her some kind of closure, and now she can focus on raising her kid and bettering herself. As for me, I'm done with men. LOL. I'm going to stay single and focus on my life as of now. If Damian ever comes crawling back to me, I'll call the cops on his ass. NTA. What the frick did I just read? This boyfriend genuinely sounds dangerously unhinged. How did he think he could hide that from you and start a marriage on that foundation? Kudos to you for helping Lisa. NTA, I think this is a typical case of an entitled person cosseted by parents and completely oblivious to the consequences of their actions. You may view it as his family helping you, but I feel like he was trying to make you dependent on him so he could rule over you. His actions with Lisa show how little he cares about other people. Next story. I have to ask this because 1, I'm still shaken and angry about this. 2, to me, the other persons were clearly the a-holes. 3, judging by the reaction I got from some other persons at the end of the concert, I'm the a-hole. I attended a sold-out mixed classical movie music concert held by the local symphony orchestra. It was a late-night concert which lasted several hours. Next to me, between me and the end of the row, sat a couple with 4 kids. The youngest one was probably 3 to 4 years old, and the eldest was probably preschool or first grade aged. From the get-go, the concert seemed to be way too much for the kids as they squirmed and complained, although very quietly, props for the parents. They also complained several times that the music was too loud or scary. The seats were constantly shaking as they rocked back and forth or climbed over their parents. They also crawled back and forth the foot pace of the 50-ish seat row. Before the intermission, the kids were so frustrated that the parents had to physically hold 2 of them to stop them from running away. But there still was an occasional limb blocking my view to the stage or nudging me as the kids managed to squirm themselves nearly upside down in their parents' hold. I tried to gesture them once that I'm not okay with this, but they gave me a shrug. I thought about leaving during the intermission because I had missed most of the concert so far, but then selfishly hoped that the family would leave during the intermission. But no, they came back. During the second part, 2 kids sat between the parents, and parents held the smallest ones on their laps. After about 10 minutes to the second part, I noticed from the smell that the youngest one sitting on their father's lap next to me needed their diaper to be changed. After a moment, the parent began reacting. The parents had their hands full with keeping the kids physically under control as they were still just as active as before. The father next to me could not hold the squirming kid still by themselves, so he whispered to me if I could take the kid and hold him and they would change the diaper. I apologized and declined as I just wanted to concentrate on the music, but told them there is a child changing station just outside the hall. This pissed the father, but they managed to change the diaper without leaving their places. When the concert ended, several older persons on the row behind and in front of me began loudly berating me for several minutes for being an a-hole and not helping with the diaper episode and the kids in general. Without this reaction, I would not have even asked, but AITA for not holding some random person's half-naked, poopy, squirming kids so that they can change the diaper during a concert? NTA, those parents were so out of line. If you must bring young children to these events, at least be prepared and don't expect other people to do your parenting for you. I think they were inconsiderate to the children and to the other concert goers just by bringing the kids in the first place. NTA, it doesn't take 2 people to change a nappy diaper. One parent could have held the non-poopy kid while the other dealt with the poopy one. I would have refused too. It's certainly not your responsibility to look after someone else's child. NTA, you don't ask a stranger to do that, apart from not taking kids to a concert where they would be so bored. So there are two possible scenarios why those people were angry at you. As father, asked you so freely they thought you were part of their company, and thus should have helped as you brought kids with you. They were frustrated with themselves and hoped that with an extra person it would be quiet. Or they thought it distasteful to have a diaper changed in front of them and were frustrated about that. The parents here are the real AHs. Next story. Okay, my husband's mother was having a birthday, and not a milestone birthday. Anyway, she was upset at the place that the larger family decided to go to with the grandkids. And also, my guy and his sister decided to take her to a fancy place in addition to the family-friendly party. Flash forward to the day of, and I am told by my husband that I am not invited to dinner. I thought maybe his mom wanted to have her kids only, which kind of hurt my feelings, but it is what it is. On asking, I am informed that he is the one that isn't inviting me because he wants alone time with his family, which makes me feel like, what am I, chopped liver? So I'm a little upset because I had been excited. And the four of us go out together often as his mother and sister are single, and we don't have kids, and I assumed I was included. So later that evening, they come over and call me down from upstairs in my PJs, and I say happy birthday, and they ask why I'm not coming, and try and keep it simple and say I didn't want to interrupt their family time. They invited me. I obviously am not dressed to leave for a fancy dinner in 5 minutes, nor do I have time to get ready, so I decline. And then they have me take a few photos of them and leave. I'm feeling discarded and left out and annoyed, and I'm trying not to feel like a brat, but I do. My husband thinks I'm overreacting and that it's not a big deal and that he's entitled to family time. I feel like I'm an ugly high schooler and the cool kids just left me home alone after making me take their picture. AITA? NTA, but yikes, your husband sure is. It sounds like the rest of his family have no idea that he wasn't including you, so I wouldn't blame them. However, you should have a serious talk with your husband about why he didn't want you to come to dinner and why he wasn't honest with his mother and sister about it. It was very unkind for him to leave you out of the party. You deserve better. Why did you cover for him? Why not flat out say, husband said he wanted time with just you two and asked me not to go? It's concerning that you felt the need to save face for your husband like this. It also seems like your husband knows he's out of line and would upset his mother by doing this and is making you be the bad guy. Not okay. Potentially also a sign of isolation. Also, the level of hurt you feel. Do you tend to have problems with low self-esteem? Rejection is never fun, of course, but if you struggle to feel worthy, then it can make you more vulnerable to mistreatment. There's some red flags here. Wanting just a mom and her kid's birthday is fine. My partner has done that, and if mother-in-law asked me why I wasn't going, I point out how she's my partner's mom and he doesn't get a lot of time, just her, and this is important to him. Because I know he's tried telling her this and she kind of ignores it, and it's something that irritates me about her. But I'm getting off topic. But none of the way this has been handled is good. NTA, there's a wise saying, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Don't look at this as something done to you. This is a reflection on your husband, not you. It's his problem, and you are within your rights to understand better why he didn't want you there, or to let it go and be glad they had core family time, which they rarely get now. And you did get to celebrate her birthday at the other party. Stay tuned for more stories with our girl relationships.